Chapter 4634. Su Yu, is it Lord Su's birthday today? Nope. Then your house is... Our family tradition is that when I have a girlfriend, I bring her home for the first time. Then everyone will come over like this, so they all live in our city? Huamin was shocked. No, most of them are in Jing City in Guangdong. So they came by plane? Yeah, and some came back from Singapore and Hong Kong. Okay, you win. Huamin didn't expect the Su family to be so grand. Su Yu also thoughtfully prepared dresses for Huamin and his family. They weren't too fancy, just suitable for this occasion. During dinner, Su Yu brought Huamin to each table to toast. Then they started to recognize relatives, for example, second uncle, cousin-in-law, third aunt. In short, after one round, Huamin didn't remember a single person. Su Yu took the opportunity to pull Huamin to his room upstairs to rest. Huamin was still trembling with the red packet in her hand. Is this okay? When they were greeting them just now, everyone had prepared red packets. Huamin felt like she was going to be rich. This is the Su family's rule. Take it, we'll cheat you if we can. Huamin was speechless. Min, drink some water and rest. I'll go downstairs and say something. Huamin sat alone in Su Yu's room and suddenly didn't feel tired anymore. Then she got up and put the red packet on the bed. She looked at the furnishings in Su Yu's room. The Su family liked mahogany, and it was Chinese. It was very old-fashioned but elegant. Only Su Yu's room was special. It was blue. It was a little Mediterranean. There were many old photos of Su Yu on the table. There were also pictures of him playing basketball and even posters of Jordan. Huamin felt that it was very interesting, so she kept looking at it. She even took out her phone to take photos that she found interesting. He would save it for when he needed to use it against Su Yu in the future. Su Yu went downstairs and greeted the guests. Then he walked up to his uncle and saw a girl who was about 15 or 16 years old sitting next to his third uncle. Her appearance was exquisite, and her long hair fluttered in the wind. Su Yu was touched. Third uncle, is this your granddaughter, Xiaoxiao? Ah, right, it's Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao, hurry up and call him uncle. At this time, Su Xiaoxiao still had long hair. Although she was rebellious, she was still very obedient in the Su family. She looked up at Su Yu and called out, Uncle. Good girl. Su Yu patted Xiaoxiao's head. Su Yu really did not expect that he would be able to see Xiaoxiao on his return this time. Xiaoxiao hadn't grown up yet. She hadn't fallen out with her father and become a trainee under Imperial Star. Then she became a soldier. Thinking of Xiaoxiao, Su Yu suddenly thought of Han Yueyao. Actually, he felt quite sorry for that girl. However, now that everyone in the other world had forgotten about him, Yao Yao should be married by now, right? His thoughts were led astray just like that. By the time Su Yu came back to his senses, everyone had already finished eating and drinking tea. Su Yu saw that Huamin's mother was a little tired. He quickly said, Grandpa, Auntie Yang isn't feeling well. I'll send them back first. Okay, go quickly. Don't let your in-laws suffer. Just like that, Su Yu found an excuse and left with Huamin. The rest of the people were all sent to the hotel run by the Su family. The grand family banquet ended just like that. It was like an engagement party. You, in the car, Yang Merong suddenly called out to Su Yu. Hey, Auntie, what is it? Su Yu was very polite. Chapter 4635. Our family isn't a rich one, but Mian hasn't suffered any grievances in our family all these years. If she marries into our family in the future and does anything wrong, tell me. I'll scold her, but don't hit us. I can't even bear to hit myself. As she spoke, Yang Merong's eyes turned red. Why are you saying this? Huamin felt that his mother was thinking too far ahead. Sis is so tough. Only brother Su Yu will be hit. She definitely won't be bullied. Don't worry, Zhixin said with a smile. To be honest, Su Yu's heart ached when he heard Yang Merong's words. He understood how a mother felt. It must be hard for her daughter to get married. Su Yu replied seriously as he drove, Auntie Yang, don't worry. I won't lay a finger on Mian for the rest of my life. Really, I won't. Even if she doesn't do well, in my eyes, she's still good. After saying this, Zhixin laughed. Brother Suyu, you're a typical henpecked husband. No, this is how I show my love for my wife, Suyu said proudly. Alright, let's not talk about it anymore. Hurry up and drive. Be careful. Huamin was a little embarrassed and didn't want to talk about this topic anymore. At Huamin's house, Suyu stopped the car and picked up all the things the Su family had given him. Then he said goodbye to them at the door. Andy, it's late. You guys should rest early. Brother Suyu, my sister said that you have a lot of limited edition Japanese comics in your room. There's even Slam Dunk. Okay, I'll go back tomorrow and pack them up. I'll send them all to you. Wow, really? Jishin was excited. That's not a problem. Suyu patted Jishin's shoulder lovingly. To be honest, whether it was Jishin or Yang Meirong, Suyu didn't feel unfamiliar at all. After all, he was already very familiar with them in the other world. Mian, you should go to bed early too. Suyu looked at Huamin. Take the red packet and deposit it tomorrow. It's not safe for you to carry so much cash. I don't want the red packet. That's not good. Huamin felt that it was not good to eat and take food at Suyu's house. Take it. It's nothing compared to my grandma's bracelet. After that, Suyu smiled, turned around, got into the car and left. She had never wanted to shamelessly stick to Huamin. After returning to the courtyard, Jishin snatched his sister's red envelope. Sis, I'll help you check. You little money grubber, Huamin smiled and glanced at his younger brother. Jishin opened all the red packets and was stunned. Sis, the Su family is so rich. Even their relatives are so rich. These red packets are all worth at least 20,000 yuan. Some even gave 50,000 yuan. Oh my god, my values have been refreshed. No, it should be said that poverty has limited my imagination. Those red packets were carried back in a handbag. When Huamin carried it, she knew that it was a huge sum of money. Sure enough, there were more than 300,000 yuan in total. It was all cash. Sis, a total of 360,000 yuan, Jishin exclaimed. Okay, deposit it for mom tomorrow, Huamin said calmly. She had seen Suyu's family's wealth. Then I helped you check for so long. Aren't you going to give me some money for my hard work? Jishin said with a smile. Huamin took out 50 yuan from her pocket. Here, go and eat KFC. Please, sis, it's not even enough for a family bucket, okay? Then I'll give you another 50. Ms. Huamin, I admire you. Jishin took the 100 yuan and smiled as he entered the house. Huamin carried the money to her mother's house. However, she saw her mother crying secretly. Yes, she was crying. Mom, what's wrong? Do you not like Suyu? Huamin asked worriedly. Chapter 46-36. Yang Meirong shook her head. No, I'm happy for you. Nonsense, I don't believe you. Mom, you can't bear to part with me, right? Huamin hugged her mother's neck and acted coquettishly. No, after you leave, I won't have to sleep in my own room. I can sleep in your room and have one less person to eat with. I'll save a lot of money, Yang Meirong cried as she spoke. Of course, she didn't mean that. What mother couldn't bear to part with her daughter? She thought that after breaking up with Ning Ziyuan, Mian would be able to stay at home for a while longer. Who would have thought that she would get married so soon? She wasn't mentally prepared at all. Thinking back to the past 2 days of interacting with the Su family, she felt like she was dreaming. However, what made Yang Meirong very happy was that her daughter had married well this time. Now, she could finally hold her head high. Hua Jinghai and Jiang Hong didn't have to go too far and talk bad about her and her daughter. Mom, do you feel like a green cabbage that you've been raising for years has been eaten by a pig? When Yang Meirong heard this, she burst out laughing. Don't talk nonsense. Suyu is so handsome. How can you call him a pig? Wrong. What I mean is, Suyu is a cabbage and I'm a pig. Yang Meirong was amused by Huamin and immediately stopped crying. Then, she turned around and helped Huamin smooth her messy hair. Mian, go ahead, Mum. Although I'm not educated, I can still tell the difference between good and bad people. Although the Su family is a prestigious family, I can tell that they're really nice, especially Commander Su. He doesn't have the airs of an old leader. When you marry him, you have to be filial to him. Then, there should be less awkwardness between the two of you. Su Yu seems to care about you. Although the process is a little fast, we can't doubt his sincerity. After all, Su Yu took the initiative to propose to you. There's nothing for us to ask for, right? Mom, you're right. Anyway, don't let your imagination run wild. Yang Merong really didn't know what to say, so she simply gave her daughter a few words of advice. On the other hand, Su Yu excitedly took into Tang Chuan's private club. In the spacious private room, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan had already opened several bottles of red wine and were waiting here. Oh, the main character is here. Seeing Su Yu enter, Tang Chuan stood up excitedly. Lord Su Wen? You even asked us to open 3 bottles of wine and wait for you. Did something good happen at Imperial Star again? Wei Liao asked him. Su Yu shook his head. It has nothing to do with the company. Anyway, it's great news. Shaoan was also confused. He had been on vacation for a few days and had wanted to secretly meet the netizens. However, his best friend had been keeping a close eye on him. As a result, these few days of vacation had been in vain. As soon as he returned to Su Yu's villa, he was brought out by his boss for an appointment. Therefore, other than Su Yu, the other 3 people in the room didn't know what had happened. Hurry up and tell me. I'm dying of anxiety. Tang Chuan was an impatient person. When he heard Su Yu say that he had good news to announce, his heart was already itching. However, Su Yu wasn't in a hurry. He glanced at Wei Liao and asked, How are you and Dr. Jiang? Who's Dr. Jiang? Wei Liao asked deliberately. Don't pretend. After I told you last time, didn't you go to the Municipal Public Security Bureau to meet her? Have you been hot these past few days? Wei Liao was a little embarrassed. That comrade little Jiang is really interesting, but there's nothing between the two of us. Don't spread rumors. Chapter 4637. There's nothing going on between the two of you. You'll just have a child together in the future. Oh right, if you have a son in the future, his name must be Wei Yunchu. Su Yu pointed at Wei Liao and said very seriously. Tang Chuan, why? Wei Liao was dumbfounded. Because I like it. Su Yu giggled. Get lost. Wei Liao knew that Su Yu was never serious. Lord Su, let's get to the point. Hurry up. Tang Chuan leaned over impatiently. How's your financial situation recently? Su Yu glanced at him from the corner of his eyes. I don't have money. No need to borrow money, Tang Chuan said on purpose. You want me to borrow money from you? Dream on. Last time, you stole a painting from me that was worth millions. I didn't even ask you for money. Su Yu glared at him. Tang Chuan quickly changed the topic. Lord Su, let's not talk about the past. Hurry up and talk about today. Su Yu picked up a melon seed on the table and put it in his mouth. I'm getting married. You two should prepare a wedding gift. I accept WeChat and Alipay transfers, but there's a limit. It's best if you can transfer it to me directly through mobile banking. If mobile banking is troublesome, you can tell your company's finance department to transfer it directly to our company's account. Thank you. Fuck? What did you say? Tang Chuan was shocked. Are you kidding? Wei Liao obviously didn't believe him. Today isn't April Fool's Day. I'm not joking with you two. I'm getting married. Do you know? It's next month. Su Yu was smug. Back then, both of them had other halves. Then they would always laugh at Su Yu for being single. Now, the tables had turned. In this parallel world, Su Yu was the first to end his single life. Because of Su Yu's hint, Wei Liao had just gotten to know Professor Jiang. And where was Tang Chuan's other half? Because in a world without Qin Chu, Su Yu didn't know if Qin Ning would appear. Bus, wake up. It's not dark yet. And hurried over and boldly slapped the boss's face. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan were so happy that they almost fell to the ground. Boss, I'm not dreaming. Even though you're my bodyguard, you're gifts. Otherwise, you're not allowed to come to my wedding. Su Yu pointed at him and was speechless. Lord Su, stop fooling around. Tell me what's going on. Why do I find it inconceivable? After Tang Chuan stopped smiling, he became serious. Su Yu raised the wine glass beside him. Just yesterday, Our Su family met our in-laws. My wife's family all came to our Su family for dinner. Our Su family has been here for more than 20 years, including my aunt in the capital and my third uncle in Guangdong. In short, the entire family came. Fuck no way. It's such a grand occasion, and you didn't invite me? Tang Chuan cursed. It's because it's too grand that I can't invite you. I'm afraid that you'll drink too much and take off your pants and embarrass me, Su Yu said. Tang Chuan kicked Su Yu's butt. Fuck you, you're the one who's taking off your pants. Lord Su, don't tell me that your bride is the girl who ate hot pot that day? Wei Liao reacted the fastest. Congratulations, you even know how to answer first. Su Yu blew Wei Liao a kiss. Wei Liao was speechless. Tang Chuan was speechless. And was speechless. Boss, I only took 3 days off, and said with a dumbfounded expression. That's right, so I made a big decision in my life for the next 3 days. Boss, are you serious? Are you really going to marry Miss Hua? And was still worried. Su Yu, will marry no one but her. Su Yu patted his chest and promised. Then the question is she willing to marry you now? Wei Liao interrupted. Chapter 4638. Su Yu smiled proudly. Old Wei, aren't you asking a bunch of bullshit? If she doesn't want to, how can I get married myself? Are you sure, Lord Su? Let me tell you, after you get married, if there are any rumors about you, you'll be called a jerk by the netizens. Tang Chuan gave him a friendly reminder. After I get married, I promise there won't be a single female fly by my side. Don't worry. Looks like you're really determined this time. I wish you a happy marriage in advance. Wei Liao raised the wine glass in his hand. Tonight, so you didn't drink too late and finished early. Ever since they started discussing the marriage, Su Yu felt like he was on cloud 9. He was afraid that if he said or did something wrong, Huamin would be unhappy and break off the engagement. Huamin wanted to talk to Lingling about this, but Lingling had been flying around recently and hadn't returned to Sea City. So he couldn't find an opportunity. One day, at noon, Su Yu came to find Huamin for lunch. The two of them sneaked into a small shop behind the hospital like thieves. Su Yu parked his car a kilometer away and walked over, afraid that someone was following them. Of course, Huamin didn't want their relationship to be exposed. After all, this was Su Yu. In a Hunan restaurant, Huamin casually ordered a few dishes. Hey, honey, what's your order? Shu, lower your voice. Who's your wife? Huamin was so scared that his face changed. He quickly looked around to see if anyone was looking at them. Next month. Su Yu's smile bloomed like a flower. Su Yu, I'm here today to talk to you about the wedding. Huamin lowered his head, not daring to look at Su Yu. Wretched girl, you're not going to break the engagement, are you? Su Yu's little heart was beating wildly in fright. One had to know that this proposal was not easy. If he were to propose directly, he would definitely be rejected. That was why Su Yu brought his entire family to force her to marry him. It was rare that Huamin had already reluctantly agreed. If there were more changes now, he was afraid that, no. Huamin shook his head. Thinking that she had already met all the elders of the Su family, if she were to break off the engagement now, wouldn't she be throwing the Su family's face? Huamin did not want to do such a thing, nor did he want to be ungrateful. Being able to marry into the Su family was indeed a blessing that many women dreamed of. Then what do you want to say? Is there something that you don't like? Su Yu was relieved when he heard that it was not breaking off the engagement. Actually, I want to say that we don't have such a big wedding. I know that the Su family is rich and powerful, but I don't want the whole city to know about it. Also, I heard that the country's policies are very strict, especially when it comes to the marriage of the children of officials. We can't be extravagant and wasteful. We have to think about Lord Su, right? After Huamin finished speaking, he looked at Su Yu's expression. Su Yu was silent for a while before saying, You mean we should keep a low profile? Huamin nodded furiously. Yes. We have to keep a low profile. This suits my personality the most. Then I'll let Grandpa know. Then we'll keep it simple and keep it low profile. Okay. Huamin smiled like a flower. He thought that with Su Yu's flamboyant personality, he would definitely strongly object. Huamin did not expect things to go so smoothly. Instantly, he felt very gratified. But, when do you plan to register your marriage with me? Huh? Huamin did not expect Su Yu to suddenly ask this. We can register our marriage anytime. There's no rush for that, Huamin said as he ate. Who said there's no rush? I'm so anxious. I'm afraid that you'll break your promise, Su Yu said honestly. That anxious look of hers almost made Huamin laugh to death. You still have the cheek to laugh? Su Yu glared at her with a dark expression. It was all because of her. He had been suffering from insomnia for the past few days. Chapter 4639. I can't run away, what are you worried about? We can register our marriage any day. I think it's better to do it today than to pick a date. Today? Huamin froze. Yes, let's go after dinner. But I'm at work. Huamin found an excuse. You can take 2 hours off. 2 hours is enough. But I don't have my household registration booklet with me. I can send someone to get it from your house and meet us at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Huamin was speechless. Me? Is that okay? This was probably the first time in his life that Su Yu was acting cute. Su Yu was afraid that Huamin would reject him, so for the first time, he pouted and stared at Huamin cutely. Huamin really couldn't bear to reject his pitiful look, so he fell deeply into his trap. Then, okay, I'll call my mom and tell her. Su Yu's decisions were all very sudden, so Huamin thought about it and felt that it made sense. Since he had decided to get married and had accepted so many gifts from Su Yu's family, it was impossible for him to break the engagement now. Therefore, it was only a matter of time before they registered their marriage. He heard that the Su family was looking for an expert to pick the wedding date next month. Huamin didn't know about these things, so he left everything to Su Yu's mother. After dinner, Huamin made 2 calls. One was to tell his mother that Su Yu's people were going to get his household registration booklet. The other was to call the hospital and ask for 2 hours of leave in the afternoon. Then, Huamin got into Su Yu's car and the two of them went to the Civil Affairs Bureau. After and received Su Yu's instructions, he drove the Lamborghini to Huamin's house at lightning speed. After getting his household registration booklet, he immediately rushed to the Civil Affairs Bureau. The timing was just right. Su Yu and Huamin got out of the car and handed over his household registration booklet. Another person from Su Yu's company came in a Mercedes-Benz and brought 2 white shirts from a certain famous brand. Come, change into this later. What? Looking at the white shirt, Huamin was stunned again. I heard that white shirts look good in wedding photos, Su Yu said. How do you know? Have you ever been married? Huamin looked at him with amusement. Even if you haven't eaten pork, you've seen pigs run. All right, you're going to be a bully here. Hurry up and change your clothes. Su Yu patted Huamin's head and coaxed him into the room. Boss, are you trying to kidnap a young girl? And chuckled. Get lost. I want to get married. If anyone dares to stop me, I'll chop them up. Su Yu scolded jokingly and entered the Civil Affairs Bureau with the white shirt. Su Yu was going to make a call to the leaders here and ask for special treatment. However, Huamin refused and insisted on waiting in line. In the end, they waited for half an hour before it was their turn. Huamin, Su Yu, right? Yes. Give me your ID and household registration booklet, the staff member said. The two of them handed it over. After reviewing the documents, the staff member asked routinely, Have you thought about it? Yes, we've thought about it for a long time. Su Yu couldn't wait. Huamin was so angry that he pinched him. The staff member couldn't help but laugh. Take good care of your wife after you get married. Do more work that a man should do. Don't be too calculative and tolerant. Okay, I'll definitely do it. Su Yu was also an obedient child today. No matter what the staff member said, he would do it. In the end, after receiving the marriage certificate, Su Yu couldn't bear to put it down. He held it in his hand and looked at it repeatedly. After Huamin received the red booklet, she had mixed feelings. She had thought that she would graduate from university with Ning Ziyuan and get married smoothly. Then, the two of them would go into medicine. She thought that it would be good, but she didn't expect so many things to happen. Most importantly, She didn't expect to marry Su Yu. Su Yu? Huamin suddenly wanted to say something. Call me hubby. After Su Yu tricked her, he changed his attitude and directly threatened Huamin. Chapter 4640. Huamin blushed. Keep your voice down. What are you afraid of? Everyone here is here to register their marriage. Quick, call me hubby. Su Yu knocked on Huamin's head to tease him. Call you my S. Su Yu, you're too much. If you don't want to call me that, fine, I'll kiss you in front of everyone. I'll see if you're embarrassed. With that, Su Yu hugged Huamin. Huamin was really afraid that he would kiss him in public. He quickly called out, hubby. What? I didn't hear you. Su, you don't push your luck. You're still calling me Su Yu. But from now on you have to call me hubby. If you call me hubby once, I'll fine you 20 yuan and deduct it from your salary. Su Yu, don't burn the bridge after crossing it. I really fell for your trick. You weren't like this when you begged me to come. Huamin was both angry and amused. Yeah, I changed my mind faster than flipping a book. If you're not happy, you can kiss me. Huamin was speechless. Su Yu, come, let me tell you. Do you know where that is? Huamin pointed to a place and asked Su Yu. Su Yu was speechless. Su Yu wasn't familiar with this place, so he really didn't know. That's where you get a divorce. If you keep pretending, I'll drag you to get a divorce right now. What a joke. If I don't get a divorce, you won't be able to get one yourself. Are you bullying me because I'm not well educated? Su Yu smiled smugly. But I heard that the marriage law states that if one party is separated for more than half a year, they can automatically file for divorce. Separated for half a year? You're really ruthless. I was wrong. From today onwards, I'm yours. I'll do whatever you say. If you tell me to go east, I won't dare to go west. If you tell me to beat a dog, I won't dare to beat a chicken. I'll do whatever you say. Su Yu finally didn't dare to continue pretending. In fact, one could see the status of the family before marriage. Holding the little red book, Su Yu suddenly felt that the whole world was bright. When other people registered their marriage, they would give the staff here some wedding candies. Su Yu, on the other hand, directly ordered takeout for all the staff of the Civil Affairs Bureau. The dishes were comparable to a wedding banquet. He was truly the #1 tycoon. After collecting the certificate, Su Yu sent Huamin back to the hospital. Honey, I'll pick you up after work. Don't bother, I'll go back by myself. No, I meant to take you back to my house, my private villa. Why are we going to your house? Huamin was still confused. From today onwards, we're legally married. If we don't go to my house, do we go to your house? It's not that we can't go to your house. It's just that your bed is a little small. I'm afraid it'll affect my performance. After hearing this, Huamin went up and grabbed Su Yu's ear. Can you stop talking dirty with me? Are you bullying me because I don't know anything? Ouch. Don't pull, it hurts. Honey, I was wrong. I'll pick you up after work and send you back to your house. No need, my mom already said that the bride and groom can't see each other too often before the wedding. It's not good. Who said that? Aren't we separated for 7 or 8 hours when we go home to sleep? It's not like we're stuck together 24/7. You always have a twisted logic. Huamin laughed. How about this? From today until the wedding, I'll ask him to pick you up from work and protect you. No need, I'm a nurse with a salary of 4,000 yuan a month. Who can kidnap me? Of course it's different because from today onwards, you're Su Yu's wife. Su Yu looked into Huamin's eyes and said word by word. Chapter 4641. For some reason, Huamin's heart started beating wildly after hearing Su Yu's words. She had never thought that one day, others would call her Lady Su. Being Su Yu's wife was a gold medal in itself. She could do whatever she wanted in the entire Sea City. However, Huamin wasn't that ambitious. Until now, she still found it unbelievable that Su Yu fell in love with her at first sight and wanted to marry her. To be honest, if the Su family hadn't come to propose marriage that day, if Su Yu had proposed himself, Huamin would have definitely rejected him because she felt that this matter was too unreliable. However, Su Yu's grandfather, such a powerful old man, had personally come to her house. It had indeed moved her and her mother. The Su family's sincerity was really great. Therefore, Huamin wasn't someone who didn't know what was good for her. Now that they had registered their marriage, the two of them were legally recognized as husband and wife. This feeling suddenly felt very subtle. In the end, Huamin didn't say anything. She only smiled. Then, she said goodbye to Su Yu and walked towards the hospital. Su Yu looked at her back until she walked inside and couldn't be seen. Then, Su Yu drove away. At the headquarters of Imperial Star. Less than half an hour after Su Yu returned to the company, the finance department issued an announcement. President Su said that all the employees would be paid double this month, and their overtime pay would be tripled. Also, the female employees would have a 1,000 yuan shopping card, and the male employees would have a 1,000 yuan gas card. The moment this news came out, the entire company was in an uproar. Everyone was guessing what was going on with the boss. Did he close a big project? However, no one dared to ask Su Yu directly. Only Yin knew what was going on. In the office, Su Yu took a photo of the little red book with his phone. Then he sent it to his friends. Actually, there were only 3 words in it. Other than Su Yu, there were only Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. Come, let me show you this. Su Yu's face was full of pride. Tang Chuan, fuck, what's this? Could it be the legendary band tightening spell? Su Yu, get lost. Wei Liao, so fast? It couldn't have been done at the fake certificate office, right? Su Yu, you two are fake brothers. Appraisal complete. Tang Chuan, stop fooling around. Did you really get your marriage certificate? Su Yu, yes. Wei Liao, have you found a team of lawyers to settle the premarital division of assets? Su Yu, no. Su Yu did not finish his words. The two of them were shocked. Tang Chuan, that is to say, if your newlywed wife divorces you after a few months of marriage, she will be worth billions? Wei Liao, not only that, but also shares and funds. All the assets under Su Yu's name will have to be split in half. Tang Chuan, fuck, I want to marry you too. Su Yu, I say, can you two stop fooling around and speak human language? I got my marriage certificate today. Besides, I've never thought of getting a divorce. I'll never get a divorce. No, for 2 lifetimes I'll never get a divorce. Although Tang Chuan and Wei Liao liked to fool around with him, they knew that Su Yu was not a fool. He would not marry a girl for no reason and not even settle the division of assets. Tang Chuan believed in love at first sight. It meant that you felt that the person was your wife at first sight. However, Wei Liao was more rational. He had a feeling that Su Yu was hiding something from them. However, Su Yu did not say anything because it was not the right time yet. He believed that this girl named Huamin and Su Yu were fated to be together. If not for Huamin's repeated reminders to keep a low profile, Su Yu really wanted to post their marriage certificate on Weibo and WeChat to show off. After all, he was no longer single. After being excited for a while, he immediately sent a WeChat message to Huamin, "Honey, I miss you very much." Chapter 46-42. Su Yu saw it and smiled sweetly. Look at his smug look. Even his smile is so lewd. I really can't stand it. Tang Chuan was angry. He had a reputation for being a playboy all his life, but in the end, Su Yu beat him to it. The 3 of them had been single for thousands of years, and none of them had a girlfriend. Now, Su Yu suddenly got married in a flash. To Wei Liao and Tang Chuan, it was a big blow. As for Su Yu's marriage partner, the two of them had no idea. Of course, they still had confidence in Su Yu. Since Su Yu liked the person, she must be a dragon or phoenix among men. Huamin held the phone and felt that it was unnecessary. One day, when they were having dinner, he returned the phone to him. What's wrong? Have you had enough fun? Yes, I'm bored. Let me see if you have deleted my WeChat friend list. Su Yu said deliberately and then scrolled through the phone. Say, am I such a tasteless person? Huamin smiled. Let's get a new phone later. It's a limited edition for couples. I have already custom-made it with the phone manufacturer. It will take at least 3 months to get it back. Are you crazy? What kind of phone can't you use? Why do you need to custom make it? Min was dumbfounded. Just listen to me. Su Yu was in a good mood, and then he ate the plate of stir-fried beef with gusto. Min realized that Su Yu did not like to eat vegetables. He had been eating meat, but fortunately his body was well-proportioned and he was not fat. You like to eat meat? Nonsense, I'm not a monk. Of course, I like to eat meat. But I've been eating with you for so long, and I realize that you don't even eat a single green leaf. Min looked at him. Yes, green leaf is for ducks. Why would I eat it? Do you know how many vitamins are in vegetables? If you keep eating meat like this, you'll be a bald uncle with a big belly before you're 50 years old. Greasy. At the end, Min deliberately added a greasy word. Really? I'm a medical student. Don't you trust me? Su Yu looked at Min suspiciously, and he decided to continue eating the beef. Min snatched the stir-fried beef and pushed the stir-fried broccoli in front of Su Yu. Eat it all, Su Yu, we have to eat it all. Then call me husband. Su Yu bargained. Min smashed Su Yu's head with his chopsticks. While the two of them were talking and laughing, a person suddenly walked over. What a coincidence! Wuxia was still dressed as brightly as ever. Even his short-sleeved shirt was orange, and his hair was dyed linen. This Hua didn't look like a boss at all. Instead, he looked like an 18th-tier male model who had just entered the entertainment industry. Oh, what a coincidence! President Hua is also here for dinner. Su Yu smiled. Su Yu and Min went to eat at a private Chinese restaurant that was very delicious. Min liked the vegetarian food here, so Su Yu often came here. He didn't expect to meet Wuxia here. Sister Mia, your face has been round recently. Did Su Yu feed you? Wuxia glanced at Min and smiled gently. Min had never liked her. It was like this in that world, and it was the same in this world. Even though they were half-siblings, Min still hated her. Faced with Wuxia's question, Min didn't say anything. How long have you two been dating? You're good at keeping it a secret. No media outlets have reported it. Wuxia continued to look at Su Yu. Su Yu slowly picked up his glass and took a sip of water. Then he smiled and said, "We've been married for less than a week." Chapter 46-43. After hearing this, Wuxia was completely petrified. Get married? In a week? Wuxia looked at Min in disbelief and then looked at Su Yu. No way? Don't tease me. Why would I tease you? The wedding is next month, and we got our marriage certificate a week ago. All right, remember to come for a drink on the 8th of next month. Su Yu stood up and patted Wuxia's stiff shoulder. Speaking of the 8th of next month, there was another story. Originally, the expert that Lord Su found was looking at the 26th of next month. However, Su Yu refused no matter what. He said that it was too far away and that a long night might lead to trouble. He asked the expert to choose again, and the expert chose the 12th. Su Yu still thought it was too far away and insisted on getting married on the 1st or the 2nd. The expert told Lord Su that it was not suitable to get married on the 1st or the 2nd as it would offend the White Tiger planet. Only then did he give up. In the end, the expert had no choice but to pick a good date on the 8th of the first 10 days. Only then did he appease Su Yu. It was obvious how anxious he was to get married. That was why he told Wuxia that he would get married on the 8th of next month. Wuxia still didn't believe it. After all, this was too sudden. He knew that Min had always been reliable, so he looked at Min and asked, "Sister Mian, is what he said true? Are you two teaming up to mess with me?" "It's true. Remember to bring more gifts so that the Hua family won't be embarrassed," Min said coldly. "Then why didn't you tell Dad about such a big thing like getting married?" Wuxia continued to laugh. "I don't think that's necessary. After all, this is my own business." Min's face was still cold. Wuxia shook his head helplessly. "All right, my willful little sister. Now that you've gotten close to the Su family, you don't want to acknowledge us anymore. Please take care of our family's business in the future." "President Hua, you're exaggerating. I wouldn't dare take care of you. With you around, the Hua family won't go bankrupt." The conversation between Min and Wuxia had always been on point. Su Yu was already used to it. Originally, he was worried that this pervert would have designs on Huamin. However, in this world, because they were siblings, Huaxiqian was quite honest. Moreover, Huaxiqian had a bunch of women outside. It was said that he had already given birth to a few illegitimate children. It seemed that his ambition was his career, not Huamin. This way, he had one less enemy. Suyu was in a good mood. Huaxiqian was just a small interlude. After the two of them finished dinner, Suyu drove Huamin home. During this period of time, Huamin had gotten used to eating with Suyu and having him drive him home. It was strange. They hadn't known each other for long, so there should be a strong sense of unfamiliarity. However, Huamin always felt that he had known Suyu for a long time. Every time he called her Mian, she felt that it was very familiar. On the way back, in the car, Huamin was a little thirsty. Suyu quickly picked up the mineral water beside him and handed it to him. Then, he even helped to turn the steering wheel. Be careful and watch the road. Seeing Suyu's hands leave the steering wheel, Huamin was scared out of his wits. I'll drive slower. Drink slowly. Don't choke. Suyu stared at Huamin's side profile and slowed down the car. Huamin drank a few mouthfuls of water and glanced at Suyu. Suyu. Call me hubby. Huamin, not again, of course. We're already legally married. Have you ever heard a wife call her husband Zhang-san or Li Si? After hearing Suyu's explanation, Huamin couldn't help but laugh. However, he accepted Suyu's explanation. Therefore, he changed his words. Hubby, I have a question for you. Wait, I'll record it. Call me that again. Suyu turned on the recording function on his phone. Huamin was confused. Chapter 46-44. This is the first time in Huamian's life that she's called me hubby. What a memorable moment. Huamin couldn't stop laughing. Suyu, can you do it? Wrong, you'll be fined 20 yuan. Huamin, honey, why don't you just give me 500 yuan for a year? You always call me by the wrong name. That won't do. It's 500 yuan, why should I give it to you for free? Then don't call me by the wrong name. Forget it, forget it. I'll get straight to the point. Actually, I wanted to ask, did you have a girlfriend before? No. Then the ones in the newspaper, those are all hype. Those are all rumors, understand? If you don't believe me, you can ask my mom and my brothers if I had a girlfriend. Before Huamin, Suyu had indeed never had a girlfriend. When he was in school, everyone had a goddess in their hearts. Suyu either played basketball or games. Later, he went to the army and was gone for a few years, so he didn't have time to date. After he was demobilized, he started a company and was busy with his career. Now that his career had just started, and Suyu was only in his 20s, he wasn't in a hurry. Why are you asking this all of a sudden? Did someone say something bad about me to you? Huamin shook her head. Then why did you suddenly ask this? Because I always feel that there's someone in your heart, Huamin said. Suyu was driving. After hearing Huamin's words, he felt his heart skip a few beats. Huamin was indeed a shrewd woman. She could even tell. Suyu had someone in his heart, and that person was Huamin. However, Suyu couldn't say it. He couldn't explain how he came to this parallel world. Moreover, even if he did, Huamin might not believe him. What? Am I right? Mian, I don't want to lie to you. So, from now on, every word I say is true. Listen carefully, I, Suyu, have only ever loved one woman in my life. Her name is Huamin. I, Suyu, only have one wish in my life, and that is to marry Huamin. Be it in our previous life or our next life, you will always be my one and only. Suyu said this while driving. As he spoke, he did not look at Huamin. Instead, he looked straight ahead. It was late at night, and they were passing by the sea bridge. The view of the sea bridge at night was magnificent. Huamin was caught off guard by Suyu's affectionate confession. Other than his heart beating wildly, he didn't know what else to say. She completely believed Suyu's words. Because one's eyes and expression wouldn't lie. Suyu's eyes were so sincere, Huamin believed that he was sincere. However, she and Suyu, what kind of fate did they have in their lives? Why was Suyu so obsessed with her? And why did Huamin think that she was so ordinary? After Su Yu confessed, the two of them didn't say anything. The music in the car was playing just once. Huamin looked at Su Yu's handsome side profile, leaned over, and kissed him. Then she said, "Su Yu, in this life, I'll give my heart to you. Protect it well. Don't lose it." After Huamin finished speaking, Su Yu's tears immediately flowed out. God knows how long he had waited for this moment all these years. Su Yu suddenly slowed down the car and stopped at the edge of the bridge. Then he cupped Huamin's face and kissed her passionately. He only hoped that this kiss would last until the end of time. I've finally waited for this moment. Chapter 46-45. Huamin's response was the greatest gift to Su Yu. After so many years of hard work, Su Yu finally got his reward today. Because the bridge was a freeway, parking was not allowed. Soon, the traffic police drove over. "Sir, parking is not allowed here." Su Yu turned his head. The traffic police was dumbfounded. "Young Master Su, let's you. The weather is good today. My wife and I came to the bridge to kiss. What's wrong? Is it against the law?" No, please continue. Sorry to disturb you." The traffic police was so scared that he quickly drove away. Su Yu picked up Huamin and wanted to kiss her. "That's enough, you have to follow the traffic rules." Huamin pushed him away and ran into the car shyly. Su Yu cursed the traffic police thousands of times in his heart. "Honey, do you want a Chinese wedding or a Western wedding?" "I'm fine with either." Huamin was not picky. "Then we'll have both," Su Yu said. "That's too wasteful, one is enough. You only get married once in a lifetime, what's there to be afraid of?" "All right, my mom said that the wedding dress will be flown back from Italy next Monday. I'll pick you up and try it on. If it doesn't fit, we can change it in time." "Is it in a hurry?" "It has to be in a hurry." "Okay." Huamin had no objections to these details. "All right, the ring. You don't have to buy the ring. It's just a formality." "Nonsense, the ring has already been ordered, but it's not with me yet. It'll be flown over tomorrow night." Su Yu had really put in a lot of effort for this wedding. Although Huamin said that they had to keep a low profile, the Su family's low profile was still 10,000 times more luxurious than other families. "Do you have a bridesmaid in mind?" Su Yu asked her. "Zhu Lingling." "How do you know Lingling?" Huamin clearly remembered that he had never mentioned Zhu Lingling to Su Yu. Moreover, Lingling had been flying overseas and hadn't returned for more than a month. She didn't even know how she met Su Yu. I heard Jixin mention her once. He said she's your best friend." Su Yu guiltily found an excuse. Huamin didn't notice anything strange and nodded. "She's my best friend. I only have one good friend." "Yes, you have to invite her. I've already asked someone to make a bridesmaid's dress according to her measurements." Su Yu was very thoughtful, and Huamin felt at ease. She didn't know why, but she, who had never believed in flash marriages, actually felt that her wedding with Su Yu was destined this time. Soon, they arrived at Huamin's house. Huamin was about to get out of the car, but Su Yu didn't want her to leave and hugged her tightly in his arms. "I'm getting out." "Good girl, let me hug you for a while." Su Yu felt like he was dreaming. If he woke up now and realized that it was all a dream, he would probably have a mental breakdown. It would probably be more painful than death. He only had one wish in his life. Now that he had the beauty in his arms, he really didn't want anything else. "Stop fooling around, it's late," Huamin whispered shyly. "Honey, let's play a game." "What game?" Huamin was indeed too naive. Why would he play a game with Su Yu in the middle of the night? "Promise me first." "Okay, I promise you," Huamin answered innocently. Then, Su Yu's restless hand began to rub her back. He touched the edge of her underwear. The name of this game is Guess Your Bust Size. After Su Yu finished speaking, he began to touch her back even more unscrupulously. Chapter 46-46. When Huamin realized what was going on, he realized that he had been tricked by Su Yu again. Huamin was so angry that he jumped up and hit Su Yu's head with both hands. Looking from afar, it was as if a young couple was showing off their love. Go back now. Auntie will be worried. Suyu couldn't stop laughing. Just wait for tomorrow, Huamian yelled, still not satisfied. Don't worry, you have a lifetime to deal with me. Suyu laughed. Huamin was a bit uncomfortable, perhaps because he wasn't used to Suyu's sudden words of love. After Huamin got out of the car, his hair was a bit messy, probably because he was messing around with Suyu. As usual, Suyu watched her walk back to the yard. Just then their neighbor, Auntie Wu, walked up to Huamin. Auntie Wu. It was quite awkward to run into Auntie Wu at this time. You're back so late. As Auntie Wu said this, she looked at the black Audi not far away, trying to see who was sitting inside. Oh, I was having dinner with a friend. Huamin smiled. Mian, Auntie Wu doesn't want to nag you, but I watched you grow up. You can't be like those girls out there. What do you mean by hooking up with a rich man or being a mistress? We're poor, but we have to be ambitious, right? Auntie Wu held a fan and started lecturing Huamin. Huamin knew that Auntie Wu must have misunderstood, so he smiled and didn't say anything. Just as he was about to turn around and go in, he heard Suyu call from behind, Honey, you left your charger in the car. Huamin's body froze. When Auntie Wu heard the word, honey, her eyes almost popped out. Then, Suyu swaggered over with a charger in his hand. Actually, this wasn't Huamin's fault at all. He probably heard the neighbor's unpleasant words and wanted to help Huamin get out of this situation. Mian, this is... When Auntie Wu heard this kid call Huamin his wife, she was so shocked that her jaw almost dropped. This is... I'm Huamin's husband? Hello, Auntie. Suyu greeted her generously. Hubby. Me, when did you get married? Auntie Wu asked in surprise. Without waiting for Huamin to speak, Suyu continued, About a week ago. We got our marriage certificate. The wedding will be on the 8th of next month. Auntie, remember to come and drink. Why didn't your mom tell you about this, Mian? Auntie Wu was obviously surprised. Yang Meirong didn't tell anyone about her marriage with the Su family. It was like her daughter losing a rich husband. That wasn't Yang Meirong's style. Su Yu's attempt to help her was unnecessary. Huamin didn't care about what others thought. After sticking around for a while, Su Yu reluctantly left. That night, the news of Huamin marrying a rich man spread throughout the streets and alleys of the civilian district. Auntie Wu only knew that Huamin's man was rich and drove a black Audi. She didn't know what he did. Then she said that the young man was handsome and young. Huamin was really lucky. When Huamin went to work the next morning, even the old man selling breakfast on the street gossiped, Girl, you're so lucky. I heard you married a rich man. It's not a lot of money. Huamin felt awkward. At Southside, when Huamian arrived at work, her colleagues surrounded her and hugged her. Mian, why did you resign all of a sudden? Seriously, we can't bear to part with you. Resign? Huamin was confused again. Chapter 46-47. Huamin didn't even know about her resignation. Seeing her confused face, her colleague reminded her, the hospital released an announcement this morning saying that you've resigned. You're here today to go through the paperwork. Huamin swore that she didn't know anything. At this moment, an elegant voice came from behind. Mian. Auntie Su. Huamin turned around and saw Su Yu's mother. I was the one who helped you quit your job. Lady Su smiled. Huamin was still in disbelief. I've been preparing a lot of things recently, and it's not very convenient for you to go to work, so I wanted to let you rest for a while. But don't worry, after this critical period, you can come back if you want. I was the one who told President Wu. I was presumptuous, so please don't blame Auntie for acting on her own. Lady Su's gentle tone made it impossible for anyone to be angry. Auntie, it's fine, it's fine. What could Huamin say? He had to respect his future mother-in-law's decision. Seeing the conversation between Su Yu's mother and Huamin, everyone was confused. Then hurry up and go through the paperwork. I'll take you somewhere later. Just like that, Huamin went through the paperwork and left Southside in a daze. Then he followed Su Yu's mother to try on the wedding dress, wedding shoes, and Chinese wedding gown for the toast. After a day, he was so tired that he almost vomited blood. Then after the whole day, Huamin was still in a daze and felt like he was in a dream. Was this the story of Cinderella marrying into a rich family? Huamin still felt that everything was too smooth and too simple. He felt like he had missed out on some important information. Zhu Lingling flew back from abroad the day before Huamin's wedding. Originally, she didn't have a vacation, but Huamin said that he was getting married. Zhu Lingling even quarreled with her supervisor to ask for leave before she rushed back. Inside a barbecue restaurant near Huamin's house. "Sis, what do you mean? You married yourself off without saying anything?" Huamin lowered his head guiltily. "Where's your man? Let me see him." Zhu Lingling slammed the table angrily. She really didn't know which bastard could make Huamian was willing to get married in a flash. After the incident with Ning Ziyuan, Zhu Lingling swore that she would find a better man for her sisters. But this girl's actually Hua-s get married. T.est, this Hans Mian have a date. Zhu Lingling was lecturing Huamian. Titi what Hua. As soon as he entered, he saw Huamin sitting in the corner as if he had been bullied. Su Yu walked over and sat beside Huamin. Zhu Lingling was obviously agitated when she saw Su Yu. She had always paid attention to entertainment news, so it was impossible for her not to know Su Yu. However, this was the first time she saw Su Yu in person. He was much better looking than in the photos on TV. He was wearing a white short-sleeved shirt and looked extremely refreshing. He sat down beside Huamin naturally and even poured her a glass of warm water. "Su Yu." "Hello, Mian always talks about you. She says you're her best friend." Zhu Lingling was completely dumbfounded when Su Yu used best friend twice in a row. "Mian, you're going to marry Su Yu?" Zhu Lingling still couldn't imagine it. She really didn't dare to imagine that Huamin and Su Yu would be together. Huamin nodded slightly. "Oh my God, can someone tell me what's going on?" Zhu Lingling roared. Chapter 46-48. 15 minutes later, Huamian gave him a brief account of what had happened. Zhu Lingling was dumbfounded. "Fuck. Love at first sight really exists in this world." Lin Fan mumbled to himself. "Of course," Su Yu said proudly. "I'm so envious of you. My Mian. I wonder when my Mr. Right will appear?" Zhu Lingling was genuinely happy for Huamin. She didn't comment on Su Yu's past. She was just proud that the Su family had collectively gone to Huamin's house to propose marriage. Zhu Lingling felt that the Su family would definitely treat Huamin well. Besides, being able to marry someone like Su Yu was already very impressive. What more could she ask for? "You might meet your Mr. Right at the wedding tomorrow." Su Yu smiled meaningfully. "I hope so. Come, let me wish you two a happy wedding." Zhu Lingling was in a great mood. She raised her glass and offered to drink with Huamin and Su Yu. Huamin snatched her glass away. "Don't drink too much. You're the bridesmaid tomorrow." Yes. "I'm the bridesmaid tomorrow. I'll dress up beautifully. After all, there will be a lot of rich people at the wedding tomorrow. What if one of them takes a fancy to me?" Zhu Lingling was still good at self-deprecating. When Su Yu saw her, he felt touched, as if he hadn't felt this way for a long time. There were many details to be done at the wedding, so Su Yu was busy the entire day. After returning home that night, he immediately sent Huamin a WeChat message. "Su Yu, honey, are you asleep?" Huamin, "I'm asleep." Su Yu, "How can you talk when you're asleep?" Huamin, "Just treat it as if I'm sleepwalking." Su Yu, "Stop fooling around. Let's chat for a while. I'm so nervous." Huamin, "Why are you nervous?" Su Yu, "I was afraid that you would run away." Huamin, "Su Yu, it's true. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for this day." Huamin, "Don't make it sound like you knew me in your previous life. It hasn't even been 2 months since we met, okay?" Su Yu, "Mian, I won't let you regret this." Huamin, "I know." Su Yu, oh no. I feel like I'm going to lose sleep. I'm so excited." Huamin, "Look at your useless face." Su Yu, "I've always been so useless in front of you." Huamin sent a smiley face. Su Yu, honey, sing me a song to ease my nerves. Huamin, me? Singing? Don't mess around. I'll scare you. Su Yu, it's okay. I'm mentally prepared. Upon hearing Su Yu's words, Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Su Yu, sing me a song called Little Sunday. I like it. Huamin was slightly surprised. Huamin, how did you know that I know how to sing this song? Su Yu, isn't it a children's song that's very popular recently? Any woman can sing it, right? Huamin, no, I'll run away if I sing. Su Yu, I like it too. For some reason, Huamin's heart softened. Unable to resist Su Yu's coaxing, he sang a few lines of Little Sun for Su Yu. Then, there was no response from the other end. He must have fallen asleep because he was too tired. Huamin could feel Su Yu's nervousness and excitement. However, to her, she was much calmer. Tomorrow was the 8th day of the Chinese New Year. In the blink of an eye, it would be their wedding day. She was also very conflicted. She didn't know if it was right for her to get married so easily. Unknowingly, Huamin only fell asleep at 3 or 4 o'clock. He also couldn't sleep the entire night. That night, Huamin had a dream. She dreamed that she was trapped in a dreamlike place. Then, the dream shattered. She watched as Su Yu slowly walked away from her. Then she shouted with all her might, Su Yu, no, no. Su Yu. Chapter 46-49. Until Huamin stood opposite Su Yu. She was still in a daze and felt like she was dreaming. The wedding was simple and low-key according to her request. However, no matter how simple it was still the Su family style. Su Yu, the only son of the 5th generation of the Su family, was getting married today. The wedding was held at a private manor owned by the Su family. There were less than 300 guests present, and they had all been carefully selected. It was said that the Su family's wedding invitations were all made of pure 24K gold. It was obvious how much importance they placed on this wedding. Huamin's wedding dress was very simple, but it was precisely because of its simplicity that it gave off the most natural beauty. She didn't know how long this handmade wedding dress had been sewn, or how many pearls and diamonds were embroidered. But now, she was in no mood to care about those things, because she didn't know when she was standing opposite Su Yu. On the entire stage, only the lights were on where she and Su Yu were standing. It was dark below. Miss Huamin, do you take Mr. Su Yu as your wife, regardless of poverty, illness, sickness, old age, or death? Will you never leave him? Huamin felt that her voice was so ethereal and empty. Su Yu looked at her nervously, as if he was waiting for a death sentence. I do. As soon as Huamian said, I do, the audience burst into thunderous applause. Su Yu finally heaved a sigh of relief. Mr. Su Yu, before the MC could finish asking, Su Yu shouted, I'll do it. Off the stage, everyone burst into laughter. How anxious was he? Huamin lowered her head shyly. Then she heard Su Yu say word by word, Su Yu, am willing to take Huamin as my wife, regardless of poverty, illness, old age, or death. I will never leave her. I will only love her in this life and treat her well, until death do us part. As the groom, Su Yu recited the oath himself. The atmosphere was different. Lady Su could hear the emotion in her son's voice. Old Master Su sat in the main seat and watched as the grandson he had doted on since he was young finally grew up and entered the palace of marriage. His heart was filled with emotions. In the end, a famous pianist played a romantic piano piece on the spot. Su Yu lowered his head and gently kissed Huamin. Huamin saw that when Su Yu closed her eyes, a tear fell and landed on her face. Mian, thank you for giving me a chance. She heard him whispering in her ear. Later on, Huamin would dream of the wedding for many days. Su Yu was the most excited person present. Everyone could see that he was as nervous as a young boy that day. After the wedding, Huamin moved into Su Yu's private mansion. However, he returned to work at South Side. This time, he was an obstetrician and gynecologist, no longer a nurse. It was not wrong to say that he relied on the Su family's connections, but Huamin did take the exam again and obtained his doctor's certificate. On the morning of the weekend, Huamin woke up from his sleep and saw a cup of hot milk on the bedside table. There was a note on it. "Good morning, Mrs. Su. Drink the milk first." Huamin sat up with a smile, picked up the milk, and drank it slowly. He could even feel the warmth of the milk seeping into his heart and spleen. When he went downstairs, Suyu had already made breakfast and had just returned from a jog outside. "Good morning, madam," and looked up and saw Huamin in his home clothes. "Good morning." Huamin smiled. "Dr. Hua, come down and eat." Then, Suyu smiled and walked to the kitchen to wash his hands. Huamian slowly walked downstairs until she was behind him. Then, she hugged him tightly from behind. "Suyu, why are you so nice?" she said gently. Chapter 4650. "That's because I've been outstanding since I was young," Suyu said proudly. Huamin smiled gently behind him. She might not be used to being Suyu's wife yet, but she could feel Suyu's affection for her at all times. After they got married, Suyu would send her to work every day, rain or shine. In the past, he would often go on business trips, but now he would send the higher-ups of the company. Suyu had never left home for a night. "Boss, lady boss, are you done showing off your love? Can we have breakfast now?" Xiaoan felt rather helpless. Logically speaking, he should have left after his boss got married so that he wouldn't be a third wheel in this family. Unexpectedly, Suyu still refused to let him leave. He even said that such a big house wasn't enough for him to live in. Therefore, who was single, had to endure the two masters showing off their love every day. Madame, on the other hand, was still fine. She was very restrained and calm. His boss was simply crazy. The legendary wife-doting maniac was probably him. After breakfast, Suyu drove Huamin to work. Actually, Huamin had a driver's license and could drive himself. However, Suyu was worried, so he refused to let Huamin drive alone. "You have a morning meeting today, right? Then you don't have to send me. Go straight to the company. I'll take a taxi to the hospital." "It's fine, there's no rush." Unable to dissuade Suyu, she was sent to the entrance of the hospital. Ever since Suyu got married, his Lamborghini had basically retired. He really didn't dare to imagine that the car that he used to love the most was almost not being driven anymore. Sports cars were too eye-catching and disturbing, and they weren't very comfortable to sit in. Therefore, in order to send his wife to work, Suyu only drove a black Audi A8. With Suyu's identity, driving this car couldn't be any more low-key. However, it suited Huamin's taste. Suyu didn't know why, but even in the parallel world, Huamin still loved Audi so much. It was an inexplicable feeling. It was just a simple sentence, as long as his wife was happy. After Huamin became a doctor, his workload obviously increased. Today, he was representing Southside Hospital for a meeting at the first hospital. He took a colleague's car. Huamin didn't expect to meet Ning Ziyuan here. He was still an ophthalmologist, but it was said that he didn't have a good reputation. Very few people had his name, he was just hanging out. She had heard from her colleagues that man had induced a miscarriage when she was only a few months old and divorced him. They sold the house. They didn't know how they split the money. It was said that Ning Ziyuan was living with a female university student. Huamin didn't want to interfere with his matters. Everyone had to pay the price for their mistakes. Although Huamin didn't like Ning Ziyuan, he had never done anything to let him down. If it weren't for Suyu's help, his mother's 60,000 yuan would have gone down the drain. Therefore, when they met, the two of them seemed to be strangers. In the corridor of the first hospital, Huamin walked downstairs with a smile after a meeting with the OB/GYN doctors. Just like that, Ning Ziyuan walked towards them. Everyone knew about their past, so they subconsciously avoided him. Huamin didn't plan to greet him. Ning Ziyuan, on the other hand, "Mian, please call me Dr. Hua, thank you." Huamin's tone was unprecedentedly distant. "Mian, can we talk?" Chapter 4651. Ning Ziyuan looked very dispirited. His eyes seemed to have a lot to say. "I don't think there's any need for us to talk. My dad has liver cancer." Ning Ziyuan's words stunned Huamin slightly. Ning Ziyuan's parents were both farmers in the mountain village. She had met them before. They were honest and kind people. After they separated, the old couple felt sorry for Huamin. They even brought Huamin a lot of specialties from the mountains. She hadn't seen them in a long time. Seeing that Huamin didn't say anything, Ning Ziyuan continued, "It's true. I'm not lying to you. It was confirmed at our hospital. You can check the information." "So, what do you want to say?" Huamin glanced at his face coldly. "Let's talk somewhere else?" Ning Ziyuan's eyes were almost pleading. Huamin thought about his elderly father having cancer. His emotions were very complicated. Inside a cafe near the first hospital, Huamin and Ning Ziyuan sat across from each other. "If you have something to say it quickly. I don't have much time." Huamin looked down at his watch. "Are you still with Suyu?" Ning Ziyuan's expression was very complicated when he asked this question. It was as if he was saying that Huamian had found a rich man, but he was envious, jealous, and looked down on him. Huamin glanced at him and replied coldly, "Yes. I hope that Suyu treats you sincerely. You know that playboys like him only like to play with feelings. Don't be too stupid and get too involved. I'm saying this for your own good," Ning Ziyuan said to Huamin shamelessly as a friend. "Thank you for your advice, but Suyu and I are already married." Huamin was not someone who liked to show off. Only a few people knew about her marriage with Suyu. The Su family's power directly suppressed all the major media, and no one reported it. Only the guests who attended the wedding at that time spread the news that Suyu was already married. However, because it wasn't confirmed, many people didn't know that it was true. "What did you say?" Ning Ziyuan was dumbfounded. This was the expression that Huamin wanted to see. For a moment, she felt the thrill of revenge. After all, dating Suyu, cohabiting with Suyu, none of those words could compare to this sentence, "I'm married to Suyu." "You and Suyu are married?" "Yes, we're legally married," Huamin added. Ning Ziyuan's expression couldn't be described as shock. After a long time, he finally calmed down and said with a mocking smile, "Congratulations, you're finally married into a rich family. So, I'm here today to hear you congratulate me? If you have something to say, you'd better say it quickly. You have 5 minutes." Huamin looked down at her watch again and reminded Huamin, "Mian, I want to borrow money." "Borrow money? You're asking me?" Huamin smiled. "Yes, my dad's liver cancer is in the intermediate stage. There's still hope. I want to have surgery, but I don't have that much money. You're a doctor, you know the cost of cancer treatment." It turned out that Ning Ziyuan coaxed Huamin into coming to the cafe just to borrow money. He felt that if Huamin and Suyu were together, they wouldn't lack money. Of course, after hearing that Suyu and Huamin were married, he wanted to borrow money even more. After all, the Su family had endless money. Chapter 4652. But we're not even friends. Why should I lend it to you? Mian, how can you be so heartless? Ning Ziyuan didn't expect Huamin to say this and be so decisive. You've always treated me the same way. Back then, you used my mother's money to buy a house and then married he man. When have you ever shown me any mercy? Huamin's words made Ning Ziyuan speechless. Mian, I'm begging you. I need 300,000 yuan now. I'll write an IOU. I can pay you back in installments with my salary at the hospital. My dad treats you well, you know that. Even if you don't care about me, my parents, time's up. Thank you for the coffee. Huamin stood up and left. Ning Ziyuan was left with a face full of regret at Imperial Star Entertainment. After the meeting, Suyu was hungry, so he brought a few executives to the company's cafeteria. The moment Suyu entered, he immediately caused a commotion. Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong, and the other popular artists knew about Suyu's marriage. After all, they were there to watch the ceremony that day. Zhao Qingya, Jian Tong, and Ye Lingxian were all there. The 3 women had different feelings. Some were envious, while others sincerely wished him well. Jian Tong and Ye Lingxian were smarter. After knowing that their boss already had someone in his heart, they began to work on their own careers. Zhao Qingya, on the other hand, still had a glimmer of hope for Suyu. Therefore, as soon as Su Yu sat down in the cafeteria, Zhao Qingya sat down. President Su. Speak. Su Yu couldn't be bothered to say another word to this woman. When I came back from the TV station recording, I saw Madam. Hearing the word Madam, Su Yu looked up. Then, Zhao Qingya took out her phone and found the photo. Look, isn't this Madam? The photo Zhao Qingya took was very clear. It was Huomin's side profile, and the man sitting opposite him was also very clear. The two of them were at a coffee shop. Su Yu glanced at it, but there was no reaction on his face. Unwilling to give up, Zhao Qingya continued, "This man is quite handsome. He seems to be quite close to Madam. But Madam, she's a married woman after all. How could she ignore you and meet men casually outside? Even if they're friends, she should avoid them. If word gets out, it'll be bad for her reputation." "Zhao Qingya," Su Yu said. Have you been very free recently? I think you've been too idle lately. Our company has a celebrity charity event about the Qinghai Tibet Plateau that lasts for a month. I see that you're quite popular, so it's good for you to do more charity work. Pack your things and leave tomorrow. Oh no, tonight, President Su. I still have a few TV shows. Zhao Qingya was scared out of her wits. It's okay. I'll arrange for someone else to replace you. Do more charity work and build up your image. Then Su Yu smiled and stood up. Zhao Qingya was dumbfounded. Qinghai Tibet Plateau? 1 month? Charity work. Oh my God, this is crazy. Wasn't President Su going to be angry with his wife? Why would he vent his anger on her? Zhao Qingya didn't understand. She didn't believe that President Su wasn't jealous. She didn't believe that President Su didn't care that his wife met another man. Inside the president's office of Imperial Star, Su Yu was indeed jealous, but Su Yu's jealousy was different from other men's. Chapter 4653. After work, Su Yu went to pick up Huomin as usual. Huomin was only wearing a light blue dress that reached her knees, and she was wearing white shoes. She wasn't used to dressing like a rich madam, so she still dressed like a girl. After getting into the car, she realized that something was wrong with Su Yu. What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Huomin asked. Honey, my heart doesn't feel well. What's wrong? Did you drink? No, then why would your heart feel unwell? Huomin really believed him. Feel it? My heart rate is different from usual, Su Yu said, feeling wronged. Confused, Huomin really reached out to feel it. No, your heart rate is normal, but someone made me feel unwell. Really? Who made our President Su angry? Huomin laughed. It was obvious that Su Yu was throwing a tantrum. Honey, I have a friend. He loves his wife very much, but his wife went to see her ex-boyfriend behind his back. Do you think he should punish his wife by kneeling on a washboard or a durian tonight? After Su Yu finished speaking, Huomin immediately understood. Then he giggled. You're still laughing? You're such a big shot. Aren't you embarrassed to stalk someone? I'm not stalking her. It's just that Mrs. Su is so famous now that she doesn't even know that someone is secretly taking photos of her. Su Yu pouted. I'm not a big star. Why would anyone secretly take photos of me? It's just meeting with Ning Ziyuan today. It's simple. That scumbag wanted to borrow money from me, but I didn't. Borrow money? Why do you need money? His father has cancer, Huomin said. Did you borrow money? Su Yu asked. No, he borrowed 300,000 yuan all at once. I don't have that much money. Huomin laughed. Mrs. Su, you're pretending to be poor again. Didn't I give you several cards? You can easily swipe more than 300,000 yuan, okay? That's your money, not mine. I'm all yours. Why are you still fussing over whose money it is? You're so boring. Su Yu leaned on Huomin's shoulder and whined. Mr. Su, please drive home quickly. I'm starving. I want to eat. Then let's go out to eat. No, let's go home and eat. Okay, what do you want to eat? The soft fried pork tenderloin you made last time was pretty good. Huomin carefully recalled that Su Yu's culinary skills seemed to have improved a lot recently. No problem, let's go. When Huomin said that he was hungry, Su Yu forgot to denounce him. The two of them didn't mention Ning Ziyuan's request to borrow money again. That night, Huamin saw that his colleagues at the hospital all shared a fundraising post on their WeChat moments. It was from Ning Ziyuan's father. It was a charity fundraiser that he started himself. It seemed that someone as prideful as him had no choice but to raise money from the public. Huamin thought for a moment and anonymously donated 3,000 yuan. It was more or less a token of appreciation. She had already done her best for Ning Ziyuan. That night, Su Yu had a video conference with the overseas branch. Su Yu spoke in English the entire time. Huamin realized that Su Yu's English was an American accent. It was very handsome and smooth. Moreover, during the meeting he really looked like a boss. Huamin made a cup of coffee, walked over, and placed it on the table. In order not to disturb Su Yu, he wanted to turn around and leave. However, Su Yu pulled him hard and he fell into Su Yu's arms. Then, Huamin was caught off guard and met Su Yu's subordinates from the overseas branch. Su Yu mischievously said in English, "Let me introduce you. This is my wife, Huamin." Chapter 46-54. Come on, say hello to them. Huamin shyly greeted them in English. Then she quickly got up and ran to the side, to hide from the camera. "What are you doing? You scared me to death," Huamin complained in Chinese. Su Yu smiled but didn't say anything. "You still have the cheek to smile. I'll deal with you later." When Su Yu came out of the meeting, Huamin was downstairs watching a TV show. At this time, and was hiding in his room, playing games and refusing to come out. Su Yu went straight to the kitchen, took out some fruits from the fridge, washed them, cut them, and brought them up. He placed them in front of Huamin. "Mrs. Su, please have some fruit." "Thank you, Mr. Su." Su Yu sat down next to Huamin and put his arm around her shoulder. He could clearly feel the warmth from her body. Every time this happened, he would have a feeling. It was as if there was a voice in his heart that kept saying, "She's mine. She belongs to me and only me." "Honey, what TV show are you watching?" "Ghost blows out the light." "Aren't you afraid?" "It's so late." Su Yu was speechless. "I'm not afraid. When I was in medical school, I studied corpses with a few classmates at night." Su Yu, women in medical school are indeed powerful. Su Yu gave her a thumbs up. "By the way, honey, I've been planning to use your name to set up a charity foundation to help families in need." "That's a good thing. Mr. Su, you're very ambitious." Huamin reached out and patted Su Yu's head. "I'll get my assistant to follow up on this matter and work with Southside." "No problem." "Then, the first sum of money from the foundation will be used to treat Ning Ziyuan's father," Su Yu suddenly said. Huamin paused and looked at him. "Why are you looking at me?" "That scumbag Ning Ziyuan is hateful, but his father didn't do anything wrong. I heard that he used to treat you very well. Since we know each other, we should learn from Lei Feng and do good deeds for him. Plus, the money is from the charity fund, so it's good fortune for us." Su Yu actually wanted to say that 300,000 yuan was not a lot. He could lend it to him or give it to him. After all, that person could not afford it. But later, he felt that it was inappropriate, so he thought of the public welfare fund. Huamin was touched after hearing that. Her man was so kind. In terms of human nature, he was so outstanding and outstanding. Who said that children from rich families were cold, heartless, and obsessed with money? Su Yu wasn't like that. Her Su Yu wasn't like that. Huamin turned sideways and wrapped his arms around Su Yu's neck. "Thank you, Mr. Su. You're really very kind. Then, do you think I should change my name and not be called Su Yu anymore?" Su Yu joked. Huamin smiled and took the initiative to kiss Su Yu. Fortunately, it didn't come out at this time. Otherwise, he would have been tortured again. Late at night after their lovemaking, Huamian fell asleep from exhaustion. Su Yu pulled the blanket up worriedly, afraid that she would catch a cold. Then he stared at her delicate face for a long time. He felt like he was dreaming. Su Yu held his phone and posted this on his WeChat moments. He said, "All the surprises and good luck in this world are accumulated by your character and kindness." Su Yu felt that after doing so much, in the end, he still got to be with Huamin. Chapter 4655. In the blink of an eye, Su Yu and Huamin had already been married for more than half a year. His mother and Jixin had already moved out of the slums. Su Yu bought them a villa in a beautiful neighborhood in the suburbs. In order not to worry Huamin, he even equipped them with bodyguards and nannies. He also bought a new car for Jixin. As a Transformers fan, Jixin had always been in love with the Chevrolet Camaro, which was also known as the Bumblebee. Summer turned to winter, and in the blink of an eye, it was November. It began to snow in the north. It was Mr. Su's birthday. Mr. Su rarely had time, so he flew back from Malaysia to spend time with his family. At Mr. Su's invitation, Yang Merong and Jixin also came to the Su family's old mansion. The real two families sat together and ate a home-cooked meal. Huamin personally baked a cake. Although it looked mediocre, it tasted good. "Mian, how's your work recently? Are you tired?" Lady Su felt sorry for her daughter-in-law. "I'm not tired, Mum. I'm good, and so is Southside. Our Dr. Hua is a famous doctor in the hospital. When President Wu retires, our Dr. Hua will be the director." Su Yu hugged Huamin's shoulder and blew it out for her. "Don't talk nonsense. I'm not that capable to be the director." Huamin gently pinched Su Yu to remind him not to talk nonsense. "It's so much more convenient now that we have a doctor in our family. Mian can solve all the small problems like headaches and fever," Lord Su said with a loving expression. Seeing that the atmosphere was so good, Huamin paused and suddenly said, "Since everyone is here, I have something to tell everyone." Su Yu was also slightly surprised. He didn't hear Mian say that she was going to announce anything. Therefore, Su Yu, who didn't know what was going on, was actually slightly nervous. Hearing Huamin's words, everyone's gazes immediately turned to him. "Grandpa, Dad, Mom, Mr. Su, and little brother. Today, I officially announce that our family will have a new member." Huamin looked at everyone's faces and said word by word. When she had just finished speaking, no one had reacted yet. Lady Su, on the other hand, had some clues. After the ecstasy, he asked her excitedly, "You're pregnant?" "Yes." Huamin nodded shyly. Then, the whole family boiled over. Only Su Yu was still in a daze. He stood rooted to the ground as if he hadn't reacted yet. Lady Su nudged her son. "You, what are you waiting for? You're going to be a father." "I'm going to be a father?" Su Yu repeated in a daze. "Mian, how long has it been?" Yang Meirong couldn't help but get excited. "It's very small, only 4 weeks. I wanted to wait for 50 days to do an ultrasound before telling everyone, but everyone is here today and the atmosphere is so good, so I said it in advance." Huamin's period had always been on time, so when her period was delayed for 2 days, she had a premonition. After she married Su Yu, they had been very intimate. In fact, Su Yu didn't know where he got so much energy from. Basically, other than her period, he would make out with her every day. Sometimes, he would even take advantage of her when she woke up in the morning, causing her to almost be late for her morning shift several times. At this moment, Su Yu didn't know what to feel. That feeling was that he wanted to cry. He really wanted to cry. He was actually going to be a father. He actually had a child. It was their child with the woman he loved the most. Chapter 4656. "Look at our Yu, he's silly." Lady Su smiled. "This silly boy. He doesn't know how to be happy." Lord Su also looked at his grandson. Mr. Su scolded Su Yu, "Why aren't you saying something to your wife?" Only then did Su Yu react. He was so excited that his mind went blank. He sat up with a plop and suddenly picked up Huamin. Then he spun around in the huge living room. "That's great, thank you. Mrs. Su." "Thank you, my head is dizzy. Put me down." Huamin punched Su Yu. "Put down your wife. She's pregnant now. Don't scare her." Lady Su was so scared that she quickly stood up and stopped her son, who had lost control. Because Huamin was pregnant, she became the focus of the Su family's protection. From her diet to her clothes, they were very particular. Su Yu's private villa originally only had Su Yu, Huamin, and a few odd job workers. Now, Lady Su suddenly sent a lot of people over. Just taking care of Huamin alone, there were 4 of them. It was simply ridiculous. Some specialized in cooking 3 meals a day, and some specialized in hand-washing Huamin's clothes. Some specialized in cleaning. The entire villa was disinfected and sterilized at all times. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. After Huamin got pregnant, Suyu seemed to dislike going to work even more. Unless something major happened at Imperial Star, Suyu was only in charge of commanding over the phone. This president was indeed becoming more and more unprofessional. Then, when Huamin was 3 months pregnant, Suyu forbade her from going to work. He applied for a long leave for her. Every day he would talk to her, relax, and eat with her. He would go to the garden to eat fresh fruits and vegetables. He would go to the park with good air to take a walk and breathe in the fresh air. On this day, Huamin and Suyu were picking out baby clothes at a maternity store in the city center. "Mrs. Su, do you think our baby is a boy or a girl?" "I don't know. We'll only know the gender after 4 months." "What? Do you dislike girls?" Huamin asked him deliberately. "Once. I like both boys and girls as long as it's our child," Suyu said happily. Suddenly, 2 small figures appeared in his mind. He said sadly, "Wife, if we have a little princess, I'll name her, okay?" "Sure, why are you so interested?" Huamian was puzzled. "That's right, I suddenly thought of a very fun name. I think it'll be very cute." "What's the name?" Huamian looked down at the baby supplies and chatted with Suyu. "SSS. Poos? What a weird name. How did you come up with it?" Huamin looked at Suyu, amused. "I think it sounds good. Listen to me, okay? I'll leave the name to you." Suyu acted like a spoiled child to Huamin in the store, no matter how many people there were. Huamin naturally didn't want to embarrass his man, so he nodded. "Sure, I'll listen to you." Suyu, of course, didn't come up with a random name. He just thought of Pudding and Little Bean. Although those 2 children weren't his, he had always treated them like his own. In this world, Suyu still had memories from another world. So, he always wanted to leave something behind. Pudding and Little Bean each had a name. If it was a girl, she would be called Pudding. "Mr. Su, if it's a boy, what's his nickname?" Huamin asked him. Chapter 4657. After holding it in for a long time, Suyu asked her guiltily, "Honey, what do you think of the name, Su Guogua?" Huamin, "Forget it. Pretend I didn't ask you." Huamin felt that Suyu's brain circuit was really strange. How could he think of such a weird name like Guogua? At least, he hadn't heard of any children named Guogua. Wasn't it a sign that he wasn't educated enough? As for the boy's name, Suyu really hadn't thought about it. This was because he had never seen Huamin and Qin Chu's second child, Qin Yuyao. He only knew that Pudding and Little Bean always called their unborn brother Qin Guogua. However, this ugly name was quickly rejected by Huamin. After the 2 of them finished shopping, Huamin was a little tired. The 2 of them found a cafe and sat down. Then they saw someone familiar. To be precise, Suyu saw someone familiar. "Lord Su." Shen Mingxi walked over. "When did you come back?" "Yesterday." "I heard that you got married?" Shen Mingxi asked. "My wife, Huamin," Suyu introduced proudly. Shen Mingxi nodded and smiled at Huamin. Huamin also smiled politely. At this moment, there was a girl behind Shen Mingxi. Suyu was also causing trouble. Weighing, it seemed that the 2 of them were already close. Without Hui Yanyan, the mistress, there was no tragedy like Wei Ying and Shen Mingxi in the other world. "Big brother Suyu," Wei Ying said with a smile. "You're back too." "Yeah, we came back together." "Are you getting married?" Suyu looked at them with a smile. "Not yet. We came back this time to get engaged first. We're both studying for our doctorates, so we won't get married so early," Wei Ying said. After exchanging a few pleasantries with his old friend, Suyu returned to his seat. After returning to this world, Suyu really saw too many old friends. Every time he saw someone, his mood would be different. He had to say that life was like a drama. "Mr. Su, why are you in a daze?" Huamin saw that he was a little absent-minded. "It's nothing. I just saw a friend I haven't seen in a long time. I'm a little emotional. Oh right, did your bestie take care of that police officer? Su Yu suddenly thought of Zhu Lingling and Gao Ran. At this time, Gao Ran was only the captain of a branch. And Zhu Lingling was a particularly vicious stewardess. The two of them probably don't have a chance. They fight every time they see each other. They're really like enemies. I don't think they'll like each other. I think Lingling should find a warm man who'll be honest and listen to her. Huamin rested his chin on his hands. That's different. Haven't you heard that beating is affection and scolding is love? Maybe they were fated to be together in a previous life. Su Yu smiled. Why do you seem to know everything? Don't tell me you transmigrated from some future world. Huamin was just saying it casually. After all, Su Yu sometimes spoke and did things mysteriously, as if he had seen through everything. What if I say yes? Do you believe me? Su Yu asked Huamin seriously. If you really came from the future, then I can only be sure of one thing. Huamin said as he ate dessert. What? You must love me very, very much. Otherwise, you wouldn't have transmigrated back and caught me in a flash marriage. After saying this, Huamin laughed foolishly. He gave himself a thumbs up for his super-rich imagination. However, Su Yu didn't laugh. He subconsciously reached out and gently stroked Huamin's face. Mrs. Su, I do love you very much, very much. Su Qianxuan said. Chapter 4658. Huamin never thought that she would get married in a flash at the age of 24. Moreover, it was to the top person in the city. It was one thing for her to get married in a flash, but she didn't expect to hit the jackpot after only half a year of marriage. The arrival of the child caused the entire Su family to celebrate. Huamin also enjoyed the treatment of an empress dowager. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Even when she got up in the middle of the night to drink water, Su Yu got up nervously. I'm just a pregnant woman, I'm not disabled. Don't be so nervous, Mr. Su. Huamin smiled helplessly. Don't talk nonsense. You're going to have to bear the child for 10 months. It's nothing for me to do this. Su Yu got off the ground barefooted. After getting the water, he came back and handed it to Huamin. Try the temperature. If it's cold, I'll add some hot water, he said. Mr. Su, if you continue to take care of me like this, I really won't be able to take care of myself. Will I become a panda? Huamin held the cup and looked at Su Yu with a blissful smile. You're the Su family's panda, then I'll have a few more in the future. That way, I can continue to enjoy the treatment of a panda, Huamin said as she drank the water. No, this one is enough. Don't have so many. Whether it's a boy or a girl, it'll be this one, Su Yu insisted. Huamin finished drinking the water and put the cup on the bedside table. She looked at him in surprise. What? Don't all men want their wives to give birth to children for their family? Why do you seem so reluctant when it's your turn? This one is already hard enough. Last night, I watched a program on a foreign video website about childbirth. I almost died of shock when I saw the cesarean section. Mia, let's have this one really. I don't want you to suffer any more. One is enough for us. Su Yu was serious. After Huamin got pregnant, Huamin ate, drank, and slept in peace. Su Yu almost got prenatal depression. He had been reading all kinds of related books nervously and strictly checking what pregnant women could eat and what they couldn't. For example, she was determined not to let Huamin eat seafood, not even a crab leg. Therefore, Su Yu, as a man, did all this homework for his pregnant wife. He even watched videos of cesarean sections overseas, which showed how much he loved his wife. Of course, men would never be able to understand the pain of a woman's pregnancy and childbirth. However, a man who loved his wife would never treat her as a childbearing machine. Although the Su family only had a single heir for 5 generations, however, when it came to Su Yu had made up his mind. Regardless of whether it was a boy or a girl, they only wanted one child in Huamin's womb. He didn't want her to take any risks for him. He didn't want her to suffer any pain. Seeing how nervous Su Yu was, Huamin wanted to laugh, but she was also very touched. You're a man, why are you looking at those things? As an obstetrician and gynecologist, I don't know anything. Actually, giving birth isn't that scary. It's a woman's right given by nature. Compared to Su Yu's nervousness, Huamin was very calm. That won't do. Listen to me. This matter is non-negotiable. Su Yu insisted on only having one child. Then he forcefully suppressed Huamin, who was unwilling to accept it. Su Yu hugged her tightly from behind. She remembered how nervous Su Yu was when they first got married. So much so that on their wedding night, they almost didn't complete the bridal chamber mission. Perhaps it was because he was too nervous, or perhaps it was because he had waited for this moment for too long. Therefore, when his hand touched Huamin's skin, his fingertips would tremble slightly. Chapter 4659. From summer to autumn, and now to winter. He had just gotten used to this rhythm and thought that he could enjoy the two of them. He didn't expect the little one to arrive so quickly and completely disrupted their plans. Mian. Compared to calling her honey Mrs. Su, wife, Mian, Su Yu preferred to call her Mian, for some reason. Every time he called her Mian, he would feel happy. However, he could only call her that at night after they went to bed. Otherwise, he would definitely be scolded in front of Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. Especially Tang Chuan, he might vomit if he heard it. After all, who would have thought that the once hot-tempered young master would one day become as clingy as a teddy bear? Not only was he clingy to his wife, but he also chased after her and called her Mian. Just thinking about that scene was enough to make one laugh for 500 days. Mian, yeah? Huamin smiled sweetly. I'm sorry, the child's arrival disrupted my plans to take you on a honeymoon. Otherwise, I would have taken you to Fiji after the anniversary celebration this month. Su Yu hugged Huamin tightly from behind and apologized gently. It's okay, we'll go after the baby is born. Anyway, I gave birth naturally. I won't rest for long. But I heard that natural childbirth is very painful. Su Yu's heart ached. A C-section is even more painful. Huamin was actually just joking, but Su Yu remained silent. Hey, what's wrong? Huamin suddenly turned over and saw Su Yu's melancholic eyes. When Su Yu was in another parallel world, he had accompanied Huamin to give birth. It was when they had twins, Pudding and Little Bean. At that time, Qin Chu was still in the United States, and Su Yu was so nervous that he didn't know what to do. Huamin's labor hadn't gone very smoothly. The hardships she had suffered in the process couldn't be explained in just a few sentences. Ever since then, the experience of having a child had left a shadow in his heart. Although he wasn't the one to give birth to the child, it was still more painful than giving birth to the child himself. After all, he loved his woman dearly. Mr. Su, don't tell me you have prenatal depression? Huamin teased him on purpose. She deliberately placed her finger at the corner of his mouth. She could even vaguely feel some stubble on his beard. Mian, thank you for giving birth to the baby for me. Thank you. Su Yu kissed Huamin's forehead lovingly. Mr. Su, don't you think it's mushy that you have to confess to her every day? No, I just hate that my life is too short. Otherwise, I could confess for tens of thousands of years. Do you believe me? Every day, before going to bed, the young couple would talk about all sorts of things, gossip, and interesting things. In short, Su Yu's empty private villa. Ever since Huamin moved in, it had become much livelier. Perhaps it was because it smelled like home at a weekend gathering with friends. Su Yu brought Huamin to the top floor of the Wei family's revolving restaurant. It was said that one could overlook the night view of the entire city. In recent years, the Wei family had been doing well in chain restaurants and hotels. There was only one reason why Wei Liao took the initiative to treat them. He was in love. Wei Liao didn't believe in fate in the past, so when Su Yu kept talking about Dr. Jiang, he was indifferent. Later, he couldn't help but be curious and went to the Municipal Public Security Bureau to look for her. He even deliberately called Jiang Xiaowei's number. Only then did he realize that this woman was too interesting. She was his type. When Huamin was 4 months pregnant, Wei Liao and Jiang Xiaowei officially confirmed their relationship. That day, on the top floor of the revolving restaurant, the 5 of them were seated in a very strange manner. Chapter 4660. Su Yu and Huamin sat on one side, while Wei Liao and Jiang Shaowei sat on the other side. Tang Chuan was alone, so he was arranged to sit in the corner. In the past, he always mocked Su Yu for being a forever single dog. Now, the tables had turned. "Young Master Tang, you must be lonely tonight." Su Yu looked at him and smiled. Wei Liao didn't forget to add, "Young Master Tang, where's your Mina, Lucy, Lily, and Catherine? Those women aren't worthy of my attention. They're just bedmates to satisfy my biological needs. Do they deserve to be on such a big occasion?" Tang Chuan wasn't convinced. "So, our love saint, young Master Tang, can actually become a single dog one day. Ha, the tables have turned." Su Yu laughed proudly. Tang Chuan couldn't take it anymore. "Lord Su, don't be so sarcastic. When your son is born, I'll teach him how to pick up girls when he's 5 years old. Do you believe me? In your dreams. Don't even think about seeing my son 15 years ago. I'll hide him." Su Yu was also going against him. Su Yu hadn't attended a gathering of 5 people in a long time, especially when he was attending as a married and father-to-be. In Wei Liao's words, Su Yu was so proud that his tail was about to reach the sky. "Su Yu, look at how smug you are. Is your child going to be named Susher?" Tang Chuan teased him. Before Su Yu could say anything, Wei Liao added, "Why don't we call him Scottish braised noodles?" His words caused everyone to burst into laughter. None of these people looked like super rich people. They were all a bunch of losers who spoke in a local dialect. Jiang Shaowei and Huamin got along very well. The two of them talked a lot about prenatal education. When Huamin returned, he dragged Su Yu to the living room to play the piano. Huamin had never learned music, and his singing was average. However, Su Yu was different. The Su family focused on diversity. Although Su Yu wasn't interested in these things, he did know how to play the piano when he was 5 or 6 years old. Therefore, after Huamin turned on his piano that was almost covered in dust, he gave Su Yu an order. "Mr. Su, Dr. Jiang said that prenatal music education is especially important for children, so I plan for you to play the piano for our baby every night before bed." "No problem, Mrs. Su. How about to Alice first?" Su Yu stretched his back. He hadn't played the piano for a long time and was a bit rusty. He had to find the score on his tablet. Unexpectedly, Huamin shook his head. "Our baby won't be able to understand those profound words. Why don't you start with a song, Counting Ducks?" "What?" Su Yu thought he had heard wrongly. "Little Star, Counting Ducks and 2 Tigers. Which one do you think you can play?" Huamin smiled. Su Yu was speechless. 15 minutes later, under Huamin's coercion, Su Yu braced himself and sat in front of the piano, playing Counting Ducks with a serious expression. And secretly recorded this scene and posted it on his WeChat Moments. Boss's Nanny Dad Training Diary Entry 1, Counting Ducks, and added. When Tang Chuan saw it, he almost laughed out loud. Because of this, he used this matter to tease Su Yu for more than half a month. However, Su Yu insisted on playing 1 song a day, and he changed to a new song every day. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. Huamin's due date was August of the next year. Although they knew that the baby was a Leo and was more domineering, they couldn't do anything about it. That day, as usual, Huamin washed his face and was about to go to bed when he suddenly felt that something was wrong. He lowered his head and saw a patch of red. Su Yu, Su Yu. Huamin was so scared that he didn't dare to move. He shouted for Su Yu with all his might. Chapter 4661. Su Yu was on the phone in the study. He was talking to a producer about a variety show produced by Imperial Star. Just as he was at the critical moment, he heard Huamin calling out to him. His wife's call was the most important thing to him. "Sorry to interrupt. I'll call you back later." Su Yu hung up the phone without waiting for the other party to speak. Then he rushed to the master bedroom. Then he saw Huamin holding onto the door frame. At the bathroom door, there was red blood on the floor. Su Yu was so scared that he almost fainted. Fortunately, Huamin was experienced. "Don't be afraid. It's just blood. Maybe the baby is about to move." Hurry up and send me to the hospital. Suyu had forgotten how he carried Huamin all the way downstairs and immediately brought out the most comfortable RV from the garage. To be able to let Huamin lie flat in the car, it actually took more than 40 minutes to travel from Suyu's private villa to Southside. But that day, it only took 20 minutes. When they arrived at Southside, it was 10:20 p.m. At that time, the main directors of the obstetrics and gynecology department weren't there. Suyu called President Wu and roared over the phone. Therefore, that night, a total of 4 directors of the obstetrics and gynecology department came from the first hospital and Southside. Just the midwives alone were there. It could be said to be the largest childbirth in history. Those who knew that Mrs. Su was giving birth inside, but those who didn't would think that she was a member of the British royal family. This was simply too grand. Huamin was a strong person. When she decided to give birth naturally, she knew what kind of pain she had to endure. Therefore, while she was waiting for the cervix to open, she didn't make a sound even though she was in pain. However, just from the sweat on her forehead, one could tell how tragic it was. Dr. Hua, if you're in a lot of pain, you can shout a few times. No one will laugh at you. That's how everyone goes through it. The gentle chief physician comforted Huamin. She shook her head. Then, she reluctantly replied, "My husband is just outside the door. If he hears this, he will definitely be worried. You guys, don't tell him." At this moment, Suyu was indeed as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Lady Su and Yang Merong were also there. The whole family was waiting outside the door. It lasted until 1:30 in the morning. Suyu felt that his spirit was about to collapse. Then, he saw the door of the obstetrics department open. "Dr. Hua's husband, please come in." After Suyu changed into the sterilized clothes, he followed the nurse in with a blank mind. There, he saw a pale and sweaty Huamin. At that moment, tears fell from his eyes. Huamin was probably in too much pain, so he wasn't fully conscious anymore. "Mian," he rushed over and gently stroked her head. Before he could say anything to her, the baby's cries resounded throughout the delivery room. "President Su, congratulations. It's a rich girl." After the chief doctor delivered the baby, she held the newborn with a smile on her face. At that moment, Suyu really didn't know how to react. She's so beautiful. Her eyes are so big, 6 pounds and 8 ounces. The little guy really isn't thin. It's really difficult for our Dr. Hua. These words echoed in Suyu's ears. He didn't even know how to react. After all, this was the first time in his life that he was a father. It wasn't until the baby was placed in Suyu's arms that he saw the child's appearance. She was clearly wrinkled and ugly, but Suyu felt that she was the most beautiful woman in the world other than Huamin. "Suyu, welcome to this world. I'm your father, Suyu." After speaking, Suyu lowered his head and kissed the little guy's forehead. This was his daughter, his and Huamin's daughter. Other than Huamin, Suyu's favorite little lover. Epilogue. All the surprises and good luck in this world are accumulated from your character and kindness. Suyu's side story. Chapter 4662. Huamin might be the most impressive special admissions student in the history of second high school. She was 3 years younger than her cohort. At that time, her first-year classmates were already 17 or 18 years old. And Huamin was only 15, because she had skipped a grade before. The top scorer of the middle school examination had been praised by the media for a long time before she came to second high school. She had also appeared on TV. It was said that her results were among the top 10 in the country. Many high schools in the 2 first-tier cities of Capital City and Guanghai had already invited her. It was said that they offered the same conditions as second high school. 3 years of tuition fees were waived and a scholarship of more than 100,000 yuan was given. However, this girl rejected them all. In the end, she chose the most famous second high school in the city. Second high school was the most famous high school in C City. It was not only because it was an elite high school, but also because its enrollment rate was terrifying. It was said that the top class of second high school had 33 students last year, and all of them had passed the benchmark of a key university. It shocked the whole province. The teachers even appeared on Capital City TV several times and were interviewed. Second high school was dazzling for a time. The day Huamin arrived was actually in the afternoon. She had slept at home until she woke up naturally. Only then did she realize that she had to report to second high school today. Therefore, she wore a loose-fitting school uniform and carried an inconspicuous black school bag. At that time, the students were on their lunch break. Some of them were sleeping, while others were playing with their phones. No one noticed that this extraordinary girl had barged in just like that, grade 1 class 1, the top class of the top school. Only those who could stay in the top 50 of their year in every monthly exam could stay. If they did not perform well, they would be kicked out. It could be said that there was a lot of pressure on them. The 15-year-old Huamin still had long hair that reached her shoulders. She had never been the kind of girl who was stunning at first glance. However, after interacting with her for a long time, you would slowly fall in love with her. This was where her magic lay. When Huamin came in, she glanced around and walked to the last empty seat and sat down. That was because there was only one seat there. Although she did not know who was sitting next to her, she still did not know. "Hey, this student, are you in the wrong class?" The class monitor, Han Su, noticed that an unfamiliar girl had walked in and sat in the last row of their class. The class leader's words made everyone notice that there seemed to be an uninvited guest in the class. Then, everyone looked at Huamian in unison. It was still a little hot in the north in September. Huamin took off his school uniform and put on a cartoon t-shirt with Mickey's face on it. "Hello, I'm Huamin." Such a simple sentence, but it was as if a bomb had exploded in the classroom. Huamin? Fuck. The legendary godlike figure, a genius, the top scholar in the middle school exams. She had been on TV, had her school fees waived for 3 years, and had even received an additional scholarship of more than 100,000 yuan. Everyone's reactions were chaotic. However, the person involved was still very calm. Han Su was also taken aback, but the class leader was quick to adapt. "So you're Huamin? Hello, welcome to class 1. Han Su smiled. "Sorry, I'm a little sleepy. I'll talk to you later." Huamin was a little dizzy. He ignored everyone in the class and then fell asleep. When Zhu Lingling turned around and saw Huamin, she liked him very much. "I like this damn girl's personality. She's so arrogant." Zhu Lingling almost ran up to her and gave her a thumbs up. Chapter 4663. When Huamin entered the class, Qin Chu wasn't there. He liked to play basketball. He, Gao Ran, and a few other seniors from the basketball team often played in the basketball stadium. That day, when Qin Chu came back, he saw that there was an additional person in the class. Sitting in the last row, there was a little girl sleeping like a snail. Her entire face was nestled under the blue and white striped school uniform. However, the fatty sitting next to Qin Chu gossiped and reminded him, "School hunk Qin, look, the straightest student is here." Qin Chu glanced at Huamin. He still didn't see her face, but he wasn't interested. The first period in the afternoon was Teacher Yao's class. Teacher Yao was the homeroom teacher and also taught Chinese. She had the best reputation in the entire second high school and was also the strictest teacher. At that time, Teacher Yao wasn't old yet. She wore black-rimmed glasses and looked around the class. Even the few troublemakers who usually didn't listen to the class would tremble. In the end, Teacher Yao's gaze landed on the girl in the last row. Huamin seemed to be still asleep and didn't hear her. At this moment, someone beside her reminded her, "The teacher is calling you." Only then did Huamin get up in a daze. "Introduce yourself." Teacher Yao liked this straight-A student very much. It was said that she was a legendary straight-A student in junior high. "My name is Huamin." "Thank you, everyone." These 8 words were so short. There was no long speech or showing off her literary talent. As expected, she was simple and low-key. Teacher Yao smiled. "You won't be able to see the blackboard clearly if you sit in the back. Let me change your seat for you." At this moment, everyone turned to look at Huamin for her reaction. "Teacher, I'm fine here. That's all." Without giving the teacher a chance to change her seat, Huamin sat in the last row. But because it was convenient to sleep, Teacher Yao's class was very long. She was talking about classical Chinese. Huamin only listened for 10 minutes before she felt sleepy again. Then he fell asleep once again. Teacher, Huamin is sleeping in class. There was a girl with a big mouth called Jing Xiujuan. Her role in the class had always been that of a tattletale. Her studies were average, but her ability to please the teachers was annoying. With her report, everyone immediately waited for a good show. After all, no one dared to be so impudent in their form teacher's class. Unexpectedly, Teacher Yao only glanced at Huamin. Then he smiled and said, "Let her be." "Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. Teacher Yao is right. Let her be." This was the privilege of being a top student, of course. There were also people who were unconvinced. Someone among the students shouted, "Teacher, why can she sleep? Does a straight A student have special privileges?" It was obvious that they were targeting Huamin. Teacher Yao adjusted her spectacles and scanned the class. She said word by word, "If you can get first place in your year every time, you can also sleep as you wish." Suddenly, the entire class fell silent. The teacher was right. If all the students were as talented as Huamin, they wouldn't need to worry about it. Basically, he didn't need to be taught much and he would be able to learn it himself. Then the teacher could coax them to sleep every day. Qin Chu lowered his head and flipped through the language textbook. The corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a smile. He turned his head and looked at the girl again. She was already sleeping soundly. It was as if the battle just now had nothing to do with her. Huamin? Interesting. This name is interesting. This person is also interesting. Chapter 4664. Just like that, Huamin became the butt of everyone's jokes on the first day. She was a woman of few words. Other than sleeping, she spent the rest of her time playing with her phone or reading the extracurricular books she brought. The girls in her class didn't seem to like her, but that was normal. In that era, there were two types of people that people didn't like. First, you were beautiful. If you were more beautiful than everyone else, you wouldn't have any friends because no one would be willing to be a supporting character. Second, you were good at your studies. If you were better than everyone else, you would be liked by the teachers. This kind of person would also be isolated. Huamin had been like this in junior high, so she was used to it and didn't feel awkward at all. Instead, she felt quiet. After school, Zhu Lingling took the initiative to walk over. "Huamin, where do you live?" "Eastern suburbs." "Are you taking the 289 bus too?" Zhu Lingling was referring to the bus. Huamin nodded. What a coincidence. Let's go together." "Okay." Huamin had no reason to reject this girl's enthusiasm. Just like that, on the first day of school, Huamian met her best friend in a situation where she wasn't liked at all. And for the next few decades, she was still best friends with Zhu Lingling. Zhu Lingling's grades were average, but because she was a special student, she was recruited by Second High School. At that time, she was chosen by an aviation university to be a flight attendant, so she focused on English and everything else was secondary. Second High School was a school full of rich people. Zhu Lingling and Huamin, who came from ordinary backgrounds, had more in common. In the first week that Huamin came to Class 1, he had already become a celebrity in the school. At that time, every day during lunch break or between classes, many people from other classes would come to the classroom door and look through the glass. It was like a panda exhibition in a zoo. Then, everyone would discuss it in private. "Look, that's Huamin. She looks average. I couldn't tell that she's so good at studying. Yeah, she's the top scholar in the middle school examination. I heard that our principal personally went to her house to invite her. She's a god. She's pretty cute. If she were my girlfriend, would she tutor me for free?" Huamin basically pretended to be an ostrich most of the time. Sometimes, he would just put on his headphones and ignore everything else. Inside the basketball stadium after finishing a section, Qin Chu sat down to rest, sweating profusely. Gao Ran handed him a bottle of water. Qin Chu took it and gulped it down. Beads of sweat slid across the tip of his handsome nose, making people want to scream. She didn't know why, but at the age of 17 or 18, he was emitting such a seductive pheromone. "Chu, I heard that there's a genius in your class? Gao Ren gossiped. Yes. Then won't you be number 2 forever? Ah. Gao Ren gloated. Qin Chu glared at him and he immediately shut up. I think there's a way to deal with her, Gao Ren said. Qin Chu still didn't say anything. You can chase after her and use a gentle trap to influence her. While she's not paying attention, you can be number 1 in the grade. Ha, isn't that despicable? Gao Ren fantasized. Go ahead. After Qin Chu said this, he stood up and walked to the court handsomely. At that time, Gao Ren and Qin Chu didn't know what kind of important role Huamin would play in their lives. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.